In 1519, Hernan Cortez, a Spanish conquistador, took 600 Spaniards on 11 boats to a faraway place, to a nation that was hoarding one of the greatest treasures the world had ever seen. And in the 600 years prior to Cortez landing on that beach, one invading army after another had tried to take that treasure. Every single one of them failed. Here's the funny thing, every one of them was bigger than what Hernan had. They were better equipped, they were better soldiers, they were better fighters, they had more resources, more men than what Hernan had when he landed on that beach in 1519. But Hernan had a secret weapon. He got his men on that beach, those 600 Spaniards, those 16 horses, and what weapons they brought with them, which wasn't much. And he gave them a motivational speech. And then he ended it by this. He gave them one order. 3 words. Burn the boats. Can you imagine sitting on this beach in front of a nation that had not been beaten, and one army after another that was bigger and better than you had tried and failed? And this crazy conquistador told them, burn the boats. Those men burned those boats. They burned any way of retreat, of going home, crying to their mommies. There was no rationalization, there was no excuses. Hernan gave them basically only 2 options now. Live or die. That was it. They had to fight or they would die. Period. There was no turning back now. And an amazing thing happened. They won. They did what no one else was able to do. I think those Spaniards fought better than they ever fought before because they were the most committed. They had nothing to lose. There was no exit strategy. And I think that's one of our challenges. We have an exit strategy. We go into things thinking, I'm going to give it a try. I hate that word, try. Basically what that means is I'm going to do it for a short period of time and then I'm going to go back to the easy thing that I did before because I don't want to be uncomfortable. I'm going to try this marriage. I'm going to try this job. I'm going to try this business. I'm going to try writing that book. I'm going to try giving that speech. No. Burn those bridges. Forget about try, and you're going to do it. You're going to burn every available bridge you have, which means you're going to burn every way of retreating, rationalizing, making an excuse. I remember when we bought our first business, I had no idea about burning bridges. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just knew I wanted to be a business owner. It was a burning desire on the inside of me. And I shook a man's hand and I said within 2 weeks, because he was filing bankruptcy, it wasn't going to happen. We had 2 weeks and 2 weeks only to buy this business. The problem was I had no money. And when I say no money, I mean I had no money, no assets, didn't own anything. And my credit report looked like the Vietnam conflict. Nobody in their right mind was going to lend me money to buy a franchise. And this was a franchise, more expensive than your average business at times. We had no background in this business. It was automotive. I didn't even know how to change my oil. I couldn't do anything. I didn't have friends in this business. I didn't know what I was doing. And we were really young. We had never owned a real brick and mortar business before. In-home businesses, yes, but never a brick and mortar. We had 2 weeks. Funny thing happened. We burned all those bridges. We said yes. We became highly committed. There was no retreat here. We were going to end up with this business. We had to figure it out. And in those 2 weeks, one opportunity after another opened up right before our eyes. Things we didn't see before because we weren't as committed before. We owned that business and we had a great time with it, and it was a great, great time in our lives to do that. And I'm so glad we went through that process. Unknowingly, we burned our bridges. We burned our boats, that is. We burned every form of retreat. There was no way out. And unbelievable things happened after you burned the boats. Because the most committed wins. Life is holding an unbelievable amount of treasure for you and I. Not just financial, but treasure that's out there. You'll have to be the most committed if you want to succeed in every area of your life. My name is Ed Carcarey, and I'd love to connect with you at edcarcarey.com. Find your passion, you'll find your life.